Welcome to Studio J, presented by Come Here NC. My name is Chris Edge. We're here with the guys from Chatham County Line. Hello.
Hey, folks.
Hey, how's it going?
Gentlemen, new album, new tour. Starting off, where do we begin?
Starting in Charlotte at the Neighborhood Theater and hometown show in Raleigh at the Rialto.
Sold out.
It is sold out.
That's pretty exciting. Have you been in the Rialto since it's been reopened?
Yes, we've actually had a chance to go through and see all the new amenities and the new changes to it, and it looks fantastic.
Nice.
Can't wait to play.
That'll be good. Let's talk about the album, because it's a bit different from your earlier records.
Yeah, man.
We're on what, album number 10, I believe is the count?
I think this is, yes, number 10 studio.
And let's talk about it. What's the difference? I read about synth and drum machines.
You know, when the banjo ceased to be an integral member of the songwriting, all doors opened for us in a lot of ways, and we just looked at it with open arms. We love music. We love all styles of music, and we love to be inspired by the music we hear on the airwaves. And I was hearing some great sounds that I thought would work killer for us.
Yeah.
And so we made a record that is akin to the music that we listen to driving down the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, too, just through the career of the band, the evolution from album to album, there's always been this sense of this movement and evolution of what we're doing with sounds and approach to recording. Mm-hmm. And so this time I felt it, it was just kind of the doors were busted wide open, and it was a great way to put this new filter through Dave's songwriting for the songs, to give them the treatment I think they deserved, you know.
Yeah, you have mentioned to me, and I read in a little note you sent with the album to some stations that that station maybe inspired some of the sounds of the album.
Yeah,
I
listen to that station. Being a Raleigh guy, I listen to that station all the time because it's really the only station locally that plays what I consider to be popular music, if you will. Just not the mainstream stuff. And you know, they play local artists, and that's how I find out about great local artists like Skylar Gudaz or the Hiss, or just any of those great local bands that are around here making music and trying to make a living. It's a beautiful thing. You know, I listen to that station a lot, listen to WWOZ in New Orleans a lot. And when you're a songwriter, a musician, you listen, you're picking up little things here and there, and they come out of your work no matter how you work.
Are you constantly writing music, or do you have to be intentional about it? Like, are you, for the next album, do you have to like schedule time to do that, or are you right now just getting ideas and thoughts? And
for me at this age, it really is a gathering of little bits and baubles. You're riding down the road and you get a melody in your head, and you pull out some sort of tape machine and you record it, and you make a note for later. Or if there's a phrase you hear in a movie or in a conversation, just like Hank Williams did years ago, you just write it down on a scrap of paper and tuck it away for later.
How did the group get together? You've been together since 1999, I think, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, you know, we started, we were coming from different bands at the time, and I believe, you know, Dave and Greg were in a band called Stillhouse. When Chandler was in the band, he and I were in a band called Burgeon, and so it was the late 90s, Raleigh, having a great time, and Chandler went to a house party on Boylan Avenue where Dave and Greg were staying at, and saw them perform. And I remember the next day he came to me. He's like, "Man, I saw this great band. They listened to the coolest music and got great taste." We were all into this kind of country rock thing at the time, and Graham Parsons and all this stuff. So we befriended them and invited them to open up for us at the old Lake Boone Country Club.
Oh, man, throwing it back.
Place. Yeah,
yes.
man.
Wow.
And so that's where it started. They opened up, and we started kind of hanging out and getting to know each other. And then Dave, you know, came to us and said, "Hey, I've got these songs that I'd like to kind of put through more of an acoustic bluegrass filter." And so we started hanging out over at the Blue House on Boylan, and started crafting the songs, and it all began there.
Did you think you'd still be doing it this long after?
I always did. For me, that's been my sole purpose. I want to play music, and especially when I found these guys and I heard Dave's songwriting and all those songs, it was like opening this treasure chest, and it was the music, da 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 da, and so I decided to just dive right in, and no going back. So
It was either music or video game character for John, and thank the Lord.
Was that the fallback job, the
That's
video
it.
game
Fallback,
character?
yeah.
He's going to enter a video game and play it.
well, I cosplay,
Zelda.
right? I don't know.
You got to be a part of the Showtime series. Was it George and Tammy? George and
yeah,
Tammy.
man.
So many questions. First of all, how did that come about? And then what was that like?
Really, as friend of a friend, our buddy Zeke Hutchins down on the coast knew somebody, and they filmed in Wilmington. You know, great film town on our coast, and great port city in North Carolina. And they wanted musicians to play musicians, which is always the best way to capture that style of thing on film. And so there was a big grapevine of people, and we went and we had our pictures taken, and they offered us certain roles. For us, it mattered a lot of how you looked, Somehow I fit into the Pig Robbins category. Great, legendary blind studio piano player who played on some of my favorite recordings. And John, you were Harold
Bradley.
Harold Bradley. He looks just like him.
The most recorded guitarist in music history, I believe.
Oh, wow.
So, and part of the A-team, basically for back in the day, it was like in Nashville, they were the deal. If you hired musicians, you hired the A-team to be on your record, and they made everything sound great. Mm-hmm. And they were the pros of the pros. And so it was an honor to play those roles. And they recreated the old Quonset hut from Nashville that especially George and Tammy recorded a ton of their material in. So having that, front row seat while we were doing the show, to be sitting there basically as close as we are now to seeing Jessica Chastain and Michael Shannon just turn it on and act like that. It was mind-blowing,
Yeah, very different process from doing a show.
Yeah,
Or you're probably even recording an hour.
Very inspiring.
But some similarities that are great. You got from 0 to 60 in an instant, and we got to see them do that, and it was really inspiring.
Wow,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, congrats on that and the success of the great new album, Hiyo. And it's terrific, by the way. I don't think I said that yet. Love that song.
Much.
Thanks, Chris.
Magic might be my favorite.
Yeah.
Nice.
The one that's sticking with me. I don't know why. That and there's an instrumental on there as well that I think is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Under the Willow Tree.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a beautiful song.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, just to go back to that too, is on George and Tammy is where we met our co-producer Rachel Moore.
Oh, wow.
And it was just this the stars aligned where we saw her working there. She was kind of a music prodigy or protege of T-Bone Burnett. Mm-hmm. And so she was the music producer for the show. We saw her work, and it was just like, wow, this is somebody we want to hang with and work with. So we asked her, and she loved what we were doing, and we went to Echo Mountain in Asheville, North Carolina, and recorded the album. So we're glad that she was a part of the project, big time.
Well, it's a great album. Looking forward to a great show. Saturday night at the Rialto, sold out. Should be fun. Thanks for coming by, Studio J.
Thanks, Chris. And
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
thanks
it.
to all your listeners here on that station.